a lot of misunderstanding here. First of all, it's nothing to do with the blockade, because Kaliningrad is not blocked. Goods going on, transit of passengers also going on. They also can communicate via airways or sea. There are some restrictions, but it was known back in mid-March. You said it's Lithuania introduced this, so to say, sanctions, but it's decided by European Union, and Lithuania implements these decisions. And the list of goods which are banned, as I said, it was known. So this emotions were a bit overdone, so to say, and as usually. And language definitely threatening, fierce, but this language of threatening becoming traditional communication of Russia.
So with this, as you say, threatening language and the fact that Lithuania is literally only following EU obligations, do you think this row could become a flashpoint in the war? Kaliningrad, of course, is hugely strategically important for Russia.
Well, it's no reason, as I said, but if you want to escalate, you shouldn't. Russia doesn't need any reason. It would be pretext, and there shouldn't be reasons for the pretext. And depends on the attitude. Since they started all that noise, they were prepared, actually. It was not very sincere when they started to direct these arrows to Vilnius instead of Brussels. If they need some clarifications, they can ask about that. But a couple of days ago, we also gave a diplomatic note to Russia explaining in details what these restrictions meaning. And there's a clear schedule, something starting to be prohibited middle of June, something middle of August will be materials of construction, alcohol. Later, by the end of the year, will be oil products and so on and so forth. Railways were also informed on their own level, so communication is also taking place and should be any surprise. But as I said, if you are focused on escalation, you can do that without any reason.
So do you think this is then a lot of just hot air coming out from Russia? Or is this something more sinister?
As usually, but also I believe they would like to, I don't know, elicit some sympathy or to make some confusion, hesitations, doubts on the side of Europe. Who will blink first, so to say? There are some voices already, and we heard about that. Maybe we went too far, maybe it was too much. But definitely it's not comfortable. It's not convenient when you have restrictions. But so therefore, why these sanctions are introduced? Not to make life easier. And of course, it's difficult. But again, it's nothing to do with the blockade. Real blockade taking place in Odessa port in Ukraine. Real blockade is with regard to the ban of export of grain, which will be by far not compatible damage to entire world. And very difficult to compare all these things, but nevertheless they are trying. It's a good try. I hope we will stay united. I hope we'll stay principled and consistent.
And then just lastly, and very quickly, Mr. Linkevicius, we've got this big EU summit on Thursday. Do you expect the EU to put more sanctions in place on Russia?
As far as I know, it's not discussed, but I believe it must take place. We know how difficult it's happening and how difficult to reach agreements, especially on energy. Even the sanctions, those which were agreed, it's not enough. If somebody would ask, is it enough to end the war? The answer is no, it's not enough. That means we're not doing enough. and this is exactly where we should focus in the future. Support to Ukraine, but also keep pressure on Russia and not to extend any fatigue on that.